Hi everybody, it's Alan here from Pipe9. Welcome into my office. Thanks for taking the time to spend the next 10 minutes or so with me. What I wanted to do in this 10 minutes is to introduce managers to SkillMe. But specifically what I want to do with this video is to answer the question, why? Why as managers should you invest any time in learning the application and using the application to help you accelerate the development of the skills of your people? Why? So what I did was I pulled together one slide that answers this question, and I want to step you through it because it goes through the business case, if you like, of why SkillMe. And it starts off from the perspective of you, the manager, in terms of the amount of time that you spend actually developing your people. On average, Gartner reckon that managers spend about 9% of their time developing their direct reports, 9% of their time. And on the face of it, on the surface, that feels like, okay, only 10% of my time is spent developing my people. You know, should that be more? Many observers, I think, would say probably yes, it should be. But here's the point. Here's the key issue. If you divide that 9% by the average number of direct reports, which is 7, that number actually drops to about 1%. So on average, as managers, we spend 1% of our time developing our direct reports, developing the skills of our direct reports. It could be more for you. It could be more for you. You could be sitting there thinking, you know what, it's much more for me. Or it could be about right. You could be saying, you know what, yeah, it's about 1%. I have a lot of direct reports and I have to do a lot of other stuff too. Now let's look at this through the lens of our direct reports. 64% of direct reports say that their managers can't help them develop the skills they need to be successful in their jobs today. 64% say managers can't help them. And only 34% of direct reports say that managers can help them develop the skills they need for tomorrow. And so we've got this kind of time issue. We're constrained with time that we can spend. And we've got our direct report saying, listen, you're not really helping me very much. And this is the main reason, in my experience, why we have such high attrition rates. Because managers can't afford to spend the time and our people think they get no value from their manager. And so what happens is they look elsewhere. And managers also look elsewhere. Because managers look to learning and readiness to kind of pick up the slack for them, to kind of, you know, take control of developing their people, developing the training programs that their people need. But what's interesting is when we drill into the impact of training, what we find is that 87% of the information is forgotten within a month of training. 80% of the information that people learn in those training sessions, those big, global, expensive training programs, was forgotten. 87% forgotten within a month of training. So this is our business problem for skills. And we're not able to accelerate the development of our people to have such a big impact upon our business as we demand that we should have because of these challenges associated with it. Now, one of the pieces of research I think is really helpful here is Gartner's view of the different profiles of manager coaches. There's 5 profiles that Gartner developed. And what's most insightful about this research, and it's called Rethink Employee Development by Gartner, it comes from their manager effectiveness survey. What's most insightful about this piece of research is that there's one manager coach profile that outperforms all the others. And this is exactly what we're seeing in the work that we're doing across our customers. Now, the first profile is one profile that we're probably all familiar with. I provide continuous coaching and feedback across a breadth of skills. It's kind of like the manager coach who's always on, you know, coaching is always on with them. It's continuous. But what the Gartner research tells us is that actually this coaching profile degrades performance by about 8%. And what's, I think, striking about this is that often these are the coaches, the predominant kind of coaching style that we see, you know, coaches that are out, manager coaches that are out there that are continuously coaching our people and actually degrades performance by 8%. I develop my employees using my expertise and skill, increases performance by 7%. That's great. But the challenge with this style is that there's now so many new products, there's so many new services, it's increasingly more difficult for managers to keep up with everything they need to keep up with in order to help their people based upon their skill, on their expertise and experience. I enable my employees to take their development into their own hands. I encourage them to do that. I enable them to do that. I give them the tools and the resources that enable them to take charge of their own development. Increases performance by 9%. And then there's the manager coaching profile that outperforms all of the others. And Gartner gave it a name. They call this the connector manager profile. Connector managers introduce their direct reports to the right people and to the right resources at the right time that can help accelerate their skill development. They're connector managers. They connect their teams with people other than themselves, the experts who can help them accelerate their development and the resources that can help them accelerate development. And the impact of this is that they grew performance by 26%, they increased performance by 26%. And what's most striking when you look at both of these new manager coaching profiles together, these two profiles that have emerged as the most successful, when you combine them together, the impact that these profiles can have when you bring them together, they can triple the likelihood that your direct reports are top performers, over 30%, by over 30%. And so this is the research that really inspired us to develop SkillMe. Because why is this relevant for SkillMe? It's relevant because SkillMe is the app, the Teams app that enables connector managers. It enables connector managers because it enables managers to connect their people with the right experts, with the right people, and with the right resources who can have the biggest impact on skills development just when they need it, on the job just when they need it. And also SkillMe helps employees take charge of their own skills development. They can take skill development into their own hands using the capabilities of SkillMe. So this is why SkillMe, this is why you should invest your time in learning SkillMe, understanding how it can help you become a more effective coach and become, importantly, a connector manager. And also why it can and how it can help your people, your employees, to take control of their own skills development. SkillMe, the #1 skills development app for Microsoft Teams.